You're basically burning one. You're working 9 hours. You're working 10 hours, and you're working 1 hour to eat, and that's not
Yeah.
even a decent meal. So you get people.
Um, as for the meals and everything, like yes, they did, they were always considerably w- stocked from my experience. They always had something that you could eat on. It's just that the vendor that they chose, I noticed, became really greedy once they realized that these people are buying it and,
No choice.
using some of our snacks.
No choice.
We have no choice. Yeah. And basically they said, oh, you know, let's increase the prices for ourselves so we make sure, they still have the same snacks, same quantity of the same food, just more money.
Yeah, and
Just decided to increase
some,
it.
some of it could be from inflation, but it's
Yeah.
still like a choice. But like, and then you got people like me who's in the warehouse. Like, honestly, I think all the food here should be free because we don't have a choice to eat it. Like, you're like, oh, that guy, he's crazy. He wants free food. He wants more money. Like, yeah, everybody like, yeah, whatever. But you know how that goes, man. But at the end of the day, we're all like, a lot of people are still subject to working there, and that's the main reason I always try to like get as much perspective on working at Amazon
Yeah.
because once you get out of it, you know, like, okay, well, I found some other way around having to do this. But then you got to think there's like people who are still there at other places that are worse. And you're like, oh, that sucks. That really does suck. So here's some of the safety questions I was going to ask you right quick, just about what your
Yeah.
personal like perspective of it was. Amazon says that every shift at Amazon begins with a discussion on safety. We start every meeting and shift across our operations with a discussion focused on safety, including safety tips, updates, and safety performance, and recaps on safety controls for tasks being carried out on that shift. So, what do you think?
About the safety and everything of that. We did mention safety, but that during our stand-ups every morning we would talk about, or we would roughly go over it. And by
Roughly.
roughly go over I mean it sounded scripted and they weren't putting their best foot forward when it comes to acknowledging these safety concerns.
Yes. And I mean, really, the main thing about that is I say this, and I don't always want to be the only one just hammering on it, but it really feels like safety is backseat to speed at this at most Amazons. That's just what I'm saying because they were like, well, make sure you get this, this, and this, but safety isn't like the first thing they're really worried about. They want to make sure that the metrics and the rates are met. And if
Right.
you have to damage out an item and take that item to a damage bin, find a sticker, you know what I'm saying, do all this, you're definitely not going to be making rates. So what are you going to do? Leave that unsafe bag of dog food there. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna be like, let me
Yep.
pick one that is perfectly normal so I can get on with my like situation in my day. So yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah, and then they see another broken one and then they say, "Oh, do I have enough time to put it in my cart and then put it into the damage bin?"
Yeah. Should I do both or should I do neither? You know what I'm saying? Like, should I
Yeah.
not only take this damaged item from here and go take it to the damaged bin and also pick another one? Because that wouldn't make sense. Because yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, on a day-to-day basis that becomes too much for us to handle, or not too much for us to handle, but just it gives us that decision of every time we go to an empty pallet or, a
Yeah.
pallet with a broken item.
Don't get sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but don't get me started on the one-way communication system. They'd be like, come to the flow desk. They'd be like, drop that cage. They be telling you what to do, and you don't have no option but to just say, okay. Like, they're like, make sure you
Yeah.
drop the cage before break. And it's like 5 minutes before you have to drop your cage. And you're like, nah, bro, I was going to do this. And they're like, nah, do this. and you're like, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like you have no option but to do it because then otherwise you look crazy. Then you know what happens if you look crazy? What happens if you look crazy?
Yeah, they isolate you. They make you an example.
Yeah, and now you're the
Being that crazy person and saying, "Oh,
yeah promoted to customer. You're another surviving. You're another Scamazon survivor now. Anywho, okay, so this is a question about Amazon's uh, feedback surveys. You know the surveys that they send us on the scanners.
on the little scanners." Yeah.
Yeah, so it says Amazon says that associates can provide regular feedback on safety. Leadership. Amazon says to get ahead of safety risk by soliciting information from employees through a monthly rotation of questions that pop up on employee scanners and computers when they log in for work. These responses provide our leadership with a deeper understanding of safety, sentiment, safety issues, and suggested potential solutions so managers can be better prepared to identify risks and take proactive steps toward a safer work environment. So yeah, it'll ask you questions like, how do you feel about your PA? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you belong at Amazon? Have you thought about quitting your job in the last, and you always gotta answer those.
Yep, I remember those questions.
So I mean, do you think
Those
those
were
help
always fun.
leadership?
What was about it?
Do you think that
Sorry.
those actually help leadership to figure out what's going on with the associates, or do you think it would be better if they just like read the read the feedback, the voice of the associate board, and just spoke to the employees whenever they try to write us up? Because okay, so this is another big thing. Not to sidetrack, this is another big thing that they've been doing. I don't know if you know about it. They be writing people up, and then they don't tell them. So then they get their final written, and then they're like, "Yeah, this is your final written. You get rid of again, you're fired." And you're like, "Wait, what about the first written? What about the second?" He's like, "No, you've been written up this whole time. You didn't even know." And you're like,
Yep.
"So yeah, so they were doing that when you were still there, right?"
Yes, it happened to actually my friend at the time too. She had no idea she had these previous write-ups, and then she, got called up one time saying, "Hey, this is the final write-up that you can have. You're gonna get in trouble."
Yeah,
I, I'm not sure if she got fired from it or not.
yeah. Are you? Do
I
I know this
forget.
person?
I'm pretty sure Emily.
Yeah, yeah. She definitely got. So with her
Yeah,
situation,
no, she got
like,
fired.
they not only like didn't retrain her in what they were writing her up in, but they just like, yeah, see, and that's one of the main things that was like, dude, this is getting crazy, and they're doing this consistently. Like, they literally would just like do random different things. Like, yep, this person's fired because of this, and there's nothing we could do about it. It was a system. It was a system that automatically got you on this
Yep.
termination list, and
The
then
computer list, I believe it was like the bottom three people,
yeah,
or like the smallest percentage of people. The people
yeah,
who have done the least work throughout that day will get a warning or a write up,
yeah. So
either or.
So a good day at Amazon is basically 3 to 5 people getting written up every day. So if you keep writing everybody up every day, of course you're going to have a
Hmm.
revolving door. You're going to have people getting fired, and then you got the people who simply run out of UPT. And if they run out of UPT, I just seen one of these people, bro. Like he just came back. I forgot what his name. You would know him too. Skinny dude, short hair, and he ran out of UPT. So he was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and quit right now." And then when I resign, I'm gonna come back in good standing, and I'm gonna be working here again. I was like, damn, bro, I can't believe you're back.
Amazon podcast, only on YouTube.